back already?
Yeah, we only had one drink. I'll have a beerhead for tomorrow.
Fair enough.
So what do you want to do now? You want to watch a movie?
Any blockbusters on your bucket list?
No, thanks, guys, but I think I might head to bed.
You sure? I can stay up with you if you want.
Ah, that's okay. You have both done more than enough. No, really. You've been amazing. Whatever happens tomorrow, I am so grateful for your friendship and support.
Mac, you don't need to thank us. We're family.
I could not have survived this without you. Okay. Well, got a big day tomorrow, so I'll let you get to bed.
You sure?
Yeah.
Good night.
Mac, whatever happens tomorrow, you'll get through this.
Yeah. Dean. I love you.
I love you too.
Hello and welcome. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast where we unpack the latest week's episodes and discuss the residents, their lives, and all the drama from our favourite fictional town, Summer Bay. Hi everybody, welcome back. We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast. How are you, Sophie? Are you well?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Did you know, as I was prepping for this episode today,
Yeah.
it told me
Oh.
that this is season 2, episode 31. Would you believe?
No way.
I know,
Oh my
and then it got,
gosh.
I know, and I was just thinking, there's more of season 2 behind us now than is in front of us.
Oh, especially with the gap that we've got coming up with the Commonwealth Games. Are we having that here? I still don't know whether we are or not.
I don't think so. We'd be on it now, wouldn't we?
I think so.
I think we're going through, which means we'll be even closer to Oz pace, which is fine by us and the spoilers. But yeah, we're racing through season 2. That's not including all the extra episodes we've recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
How mad?
It's
How's
August on
time
Monday.
flying?
I know. Not cool, but wow, that's pretty cool though. Yeah, we've done that many episodes. It doesn't feel like that many.
No, I'm trying to think now. Imagine the hours we've spent on it.
long weeks.
Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, so we're on episode 31 already. Madness.
That is mad.
Out, not that's out with any of the bonus stuff and the anniversary stuff that we did. So cracking on, aren't we?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a good week in the Bay. I think I felt like a bit more was it upticked in pace from the week before. I struggled last week. I was honest about that on last week's podcast, but I was a little bit more invested this week, and we'll talk a bit more as we go on. And we must say happy birthday, Sophie. Because by the time this episode goes out, it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm officially an old lady.
Never.
Clinging on to the last remaining year of my youth.
Cling away. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh, dear.
So happy birthday. Any plans?
Thank you.
You're celebrating.
My usual birthday plans involve a lot of cake and a lot of champagne, so that will be the plan.
Very nice.
I'm very low key. I just like to eat and drink.
Be merry. Yeah. Well, have one for me.
And
the rest of absolutely, and the rest of the Coastal News family, I'm sure, send.
Of course. I'm hoping to get a Coastal News crossword in honour of my birthday.
A cryptic one. Alf will know all the answers. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of Coastal News, no, you're welcome. Speaking of Coastal News merch, it's your last week to win.
Yes.
The amazing keeps your coffee the warmest of warm, tastiest coffee ever. Coastal News mug.
Yeah.
Along with your very own Alf Stewart puzzle. Might I
Have you finished yours yet?
No.
I know you were struggling, weren't you? It's a lot of blue.
No, I could only find 3 corners and gave up. And of course, a week's free moving swiftly on. A week's free Spotify, a month's free Spotify subscription, should I say?
Yeah.
You can. It's our anniversary giveaway. We've been banging on about it for weeks. It's your last week. It all closes on Thursday, and we are announcing the winner live on Twitter, if we can understand how spaces work, at 7 p.m. next Friday, right before we record the podcast. So get on the Twitter at Coastal News Pod. The pinned tweet, you need to retweet it and like it. And that's all you've got to do. And you could be in with a chance of winning. So do that now while we've spoken about it, then come back and carry on with this episode.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Good luck.
Good luck indeed. Right. Do you want your headlines?
I do. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Cash learns about Rose's feelings, but is she prepared to accept them herself, Sophie? Harney and Flick come up for air just long enough for him to ask her to move in with him. Handyman Tex arrives to save Marilyn from a bucket of bait. And Mac decides to enjoy her last day of freedom before court. Is it all just a front, though?
From Monday, 1st of August, you can catch Home and Away at the new time of 1:45 p.m. on Channel 5. It's repeated at 6 p.m. on 5 Star. And remember, you can catch first look episodes from Monday to Friday at 6:30 p.m. on 5 Star.
So we start the week, we've got the fallout from the romantic conversation between Rose and Cash on the veranda of Salt last Friday. And Cash, it's hit Cash like a bus that Rose has got the hots for him, and he shoots it down pretty quick, doesn't he? And even though we sort of know now that the feeling is mutual, he's just not ready to admit it. He's got all this complication going on with Jasmine. They spent the night in the car and he chose to lie about it, so he's probably confused about why he did that, and he's probably thinking internally, maybe I do feel something for her, because why did I lie? He had the chance to tell Jasmine, didn't. She's now gone off wherever with family emergency with Robbo's family, so she's no longer around to tell her, as if phones have never been invented. And then there's this weird awkwardness going on. Rose is sort of just avoiding him at all costs, running around ordering a large red wine. Don't blame her. Insult. And basically Flick's there, sort of sticking a beak in. Everything okay there, guys? I know something's going on, getting involved with Cash's life again. And then in the next breath says it's now to do with her.
Yeah. I know, when it suits her.
When it suits, absolutely. So, the whole thing's been handled like a car crash.
It has a bit, yeah. And I'm feeling a bit like we're in the car crash with them, to be honest, because I'm not enjoying it at all.
No.
It's making me cringe, but yeah.
It is. Cringe is a really good word, because the whole thing is just cringe, isn't it?
It is a bit, yeah.
We're massive team Jasmine, aren't we? So, of course, we're switched off to this idea of anything starting. There's clearly something between them right from day one. Where did you go to the police academy? They've
obviously got a lot more in common, haven't they? This is the thing that I'm trying to get my head around. Like, why do they like each other? Okay, so Cash and Rose have got more in common. They've got similar jobs, career outlook, prospects, what they're interested in, all of that sort of stuff. We've always said on this show, haven't we? We can't really. I find it hard to ship Cash and Jasmine as a couple. I'm not saying that I love them two together. I just think it's harsh that, you know, he's carry on like this behind her back and she doesn't know anything about it. I think that's the bit that we're struggling with. It's not that I think Cash and Jazz are the best couple ever.
100%. We complain, don't we, that all they ever do is go to work and talk about work.
Because they don't seem to have a lot in common, really. And actually, he would be a better fit with Rose because they do have a lot more in common. They actually have fun. They actually laugh together, and we don't really see that with Cash and Jasmine, do we?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They literally talk about what shift they're on.
I know. Well, do you want to go for breakfast? Oh no, I've got to go and have a nap because I'm on the late shift or whatever. And it's like, it's really dull. And when Cash is with Jasmine, he's really dull. But actually, when he's with Rose, he's got a bit more of a personality. And I think that's the thing that I'm struggling with. It's making me feel a bit cringe this week, is because I'm like, I actually like him better with Rose, but I don't like that because
it's wrong. Yeah.
He's still with Jasmine at the end of the day, even if she's not actually on the screen anymore. They haven't broken up, so
this is true. Yeah, this is a really difficult situation, isn't it? And I suppose at some point, if the Jasmine situation gets resolved, I hope to God there isn't a cheating situation, because then I'll really struggle to get on board with them. You know, and I know, you know, we're super fans. We know what's coming down the line, you know, and we know we're going to have to get on board at some point, you know, and it's a bit like there's more chance of me doing it if there isn't a cheating, because I'm really protective of Jasmine. I really like Jasmine as a character. So, you know, if you break her heart, I'm coming for you. No.
It would be better if Jasmine came to the conclusion herself that actually her and Cash haven't got a future together and they're not really that compatible and all that sort of stuff. I think that would be a good ending for their relationship, really, because it'd be like, okay, we agree. We don't think he's good enough for you.
Amicable. Yeah, absolutely. Hallelujah, you've realised it. We got there way before you. Yeah.
Because they've been on Fizzle Watch for us for ages, probably since they first started getting together, and they've never been a real they're not like the Flick and Tane of the Bay, are they? Really, they're not. No. They're not a very hot couple. They're very good looking, but when they're together, there's no spark.
Yeah, nothing. I wonder if it's a deliberate choice that they've been like that, knowing that this perhaps was coming down the line. I don't know. Some couples, like you say, that when you look at how Flick and Tane are,
I mean, even Theo and Chloe, as much as that makes me, you know, vomit, like they're all over each other as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they never had that, did they? Really good point, Sophie. Really good point. Well, Xander, you know, he sort of ends up leaving her up there in Salt. He comes down and he bumps into Xander, who's waiting in the wings by the pool table. He says, you know, I'm really sorry I've made a right mess of all this. You know, she's up there waiting for you. See you later. I've made a mess. Bye. Here's the grenade. And Xander has that sort of brotherly chat with her, and she's like, no. And then we skip to the next day, and Xander bumps into Cash on the beach, or seeks him out on the beach, maybe.
Yeah.
And sort of gives him a bit of a warning, but it wasn't very scary, was it? You know?
No, it was a bit weird. I mean, I think this is Rose's fault, really, because I think she really overreacted to what Cash said to her, and then passed that on to Xander and made it out like, oh, it's all your fault. He's made me look like an idiot, you know. And I thought that's not actually you've really over-egged what just happened there and made it sound a lot worse than it actually was. And actually, you've made it even worse now, because now Xander's gone off and spoken to Cash again and made it even more of a drama.
Yeah, she's cooked it up to something it wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. And it's actually made it more awkward for herself, which I was like, why are you doing this? Just move on. Like, get over it.
And that's what Cash is trying to do with her, isn't it? He's trying to just be like, let's just draw a line, move on. I mean, all the while Irene's still pushing for this big dinner. Like, what are you doing, girl?
Get him out for a roast. He's like, no, I don't want. I work with her. No, I'm like, come on, Irene, get there quicker. You've seen this before. You know, work it out, love. You can
come on, girlie.
She should know. Irene's not daft. She should know that Rose has got the hots for him. You know,
see it a mile off.
You can. She might as well be holding a sign.
Then they go to work together, and they get put on traffic patrol, and they're in the car together all day. And Rose basically says to him, she basically suppresses her feelings. She pushes her feelings down, denies that they're there. Yeah. And there's nothing between us. I suggest we don't socialize. Don't be ringing me when you're drunk. Strictly work. This is it now. Nothing outside of work. So their friendships ended up in that space now from the back of all this. And you're just watching it thinking, who are you trying to kid, girl? You know?
Yeah.
I think I said something on Twitter as well, like, you put them feelings down far enough, you'll be sick.
Yeah, definitely.
Gonna happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think me and you are going to be a slow burner to come round to this then, from what we're saying.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
For me, it very much depends on how things go between Cash and Jasmine.
Yeah.
We know Jasmine's sort of gone now.
Yeah.
And how that gets resolved, if at all, off screen now. I mean, we need to find that out, don't we? Before I make my mind up on these two, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think if Cash and Jasmine split up, nothing to do with anything that going further with Rose, I think we'll be fine. But we just need to know how that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you know that you can play Coastal News, a home and away podcast, right from your Amazon Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play Coastal News now. And of course, you can still catch your latest episodes on all other podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Castbox, Audible, Player FM, and much more. Just search Coastal News, a home and away podcast right now, wherever you get your podcasts from.
So Flick and Tane, they're just basically all over each other like a rash. Most episodes this week. I was tired of watching it, I'll be honest. Again.
I love it. Have you noticed he's had his top off though this week? Have you noticed there's no scar, no bandage? Is stabbing incident completely gone? Must have been a very small cut.
Yeah, I was going to mention it. Yeah, completely done now. Back to his full bill of health, getting plenty of exercise, here, there, and everywhere. And she's dropping hints. Is she dropping hints at that point about how comfy his bed is? The caravan's so comfy. This bed's so nice.
And yet, when he asked her to move in, she was like, "Oh no, I'm going home." I was like, "Well,
I know."
Yeah, which is this a fake kind of? I wasn't hinting. I couldn't work out whether she was genuinely surprised that he asked her, because I thought she was dropping hints.
Yeah, I've literally put dropping hints ? On my. So we were both understood that the same way then, didn't we? Like, I thought, she sort of felt like she was dropping hints, but then when she's packed up and ready to go and Tane gives her the puppy eyes, like, where you going?
Yeah.
And she's a bit like, oh, I'm going home, silly. And it's like, okay.
And she didn't seem that keen to move in at first, did she? Because she was like, oh, I've never lived with anybody. And he was like, I've never asked anybody to live with me. And, should I? Is it a good idea? So I was like, I thought this is what you wanted. Now I'm confused.
Yeah. And everybody else thought she'd moved in anyway.
Yeah.
when they learned the news.
She was like, guess what? And they were like, we already know. She was like, oh, okay.
Chloe, I'm moving
took the shine
in.
Off it.
Don't you live here anyway?
Yeah, what do you mean? You already live here? Hello? Yeah.
Yes, well, it's official now. She's moving in.
Yeah.
She's part of the furniture at Casa Parata. And I like it. I think they're great together.
And they need another sort of female lady around the house, I think, don't they? Because it's Nico and Tane, and that's about it. Chloe's always at Theo's.
Yeah, a bit too much testosterone about the place, isn't there?
Yeah. definitely. I think they needed because Nico and Tani on their own, they're not the most exciting pair, are they?
No.
When they're together, they need other characters to sort of make them more interesting. I think, and I think Flick definitely does that. She has some really nice scenes actually with Nico this week, hasn't she? You know, when he was saying how he's, you know, I'm in a house with two loved up couples and I'm missing Bella and all that sort of stuff. And I think that was the first time I think we've seen Flick and Nico
interact just on their own.
Yeah, without anyone around. Yeah.
Gorgeous moment, wasn't it? Because things were sort of a bit rubbed in his face, weren't they? You know, he's moping around the house, isn't he?
A little bit,
yeah. And obviously, he and Flick had this moment talking about Bella, and then obviously, you know, Penny, who doesn't know what's going on, and Flick's like, "Wouldn't you miss me if I was in the other side of the world?"
Yeah,
you know. So,
the blokes just don't talk to each other, do they? So they need somebody there that's like a facilitator, go between, that actually gets them to open up. And I think that's what Flick's going to be, which I think is really good. I think they need that.
How does the song go? Behind every great man is a great woman.
Exactly.
And
he said something to her, didn't he? I think Nico said something like, "You're the last person," because she said to him, like, "You're being really quiet. Are you really okay with me moving in? You know, is it a problem?" Because, you know, she didn't know what was wrong with him. And he said, "You're the last person to have a problem with. You know, you and my uncle are great together." And I thought that was a really nice thing to say as well.
Really nice response. Yeah, that's just what she probably needed to hear, where she was feeling a bit like she was putting everybody out.
Yeah.
You know, and he says, "Oh God, no, I love you. You're the last person I wouldn't want to move here." You know. Yeah.
Cute.
All the feels, yeah. Well, you know, Neeks is in this sad place. He's had this conversation with Flick, and he's reconsidering the New York position, isn't he now?
Yes.
Because he's just missing Bella too much. He's trying to phone her, the time difference, they're missing each other's phone calls, and he's at work and he's looking at flights to New York. And then he's on the phone to Bella and he's telling her he's made a decision. Like, he's going to tell her he's going to come to New York, it looks like.
Yeah.
And then the walkie-talkie goes and he's needed on the beach because there's a damsel in distress in the water. Cue dramatic music, dramatic drowning, underwater diving, classic home and away moment. Thank you very much for whoever did that. We asked for that last week. And
you literally asked. It was only this time last week we were talking about it, and you were like, "Oh, you know, we love a little drowning, you know, lifeguard scene," and you know, here we are. I think you're psychic.
Well, I used to look, like I say, like, back in the day, they were my thing. Like, oh my God, shark attack! Like, and then like I just got a bit. We didn't have any for years. Now Nico's a lifeguard. We've had about 5 in as many days.
I know. It's crazy. We haven't had a proper lifeguard for so long, though, have we? We've had We've had some stories about the surf club, but we've not really had a proper lifeguard for donkey's years. Was Josh West the last one we had? Maybe, I don't know. It was a while ago.
No, wasn't VJ a lifeguard? Like VJ 2.0.
Possibly, yeah. He might have been, so not that long ago then, but it does feel like
I don't know, that's going to be like 8 years back.
Yeah. But it's, to us it's modern homeless, isn't it?
This one had it all though. Like, this wasn't a naff one like the last couple of times in the last couple of weeks. This was good. This had like underwater diving.
Yeah,
you know,
that boat going over that wave. I thought they were going to go backwards at one point.
Me
I was
too.
Like,
and it looked like I rewound it. I was like, "Is that really Nick?" I was like, "Is it a stunt double?"
I know. I couldn't work that out either.
It looked like him.
It looked like him. Yeah, I don't know who the guy in the boat was. Mitch, whatever his name was. maybe
was
he's
fabulous.
a stunt actor or something. Because he didn't really say very much, did he? That guy.
No.
I don't think we've ever seen him before. It was good. Yeah.
We get the patient and we drag him to the beach and we do CPR. This is classic home and away.
This classic. Yeah.
We've missed it.
Back to the 90s.
And then poor damsel in distress, she coughs up the water and everything's fine. But it was great. It was really well done. It wasn't over too quickly, didn't drag on.
Yeah.
You know, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love it.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. Don't spoil it and do too many, please.
Yeah, I don't want every episode, but yeah.
No.
Now that he's a legitimate lifeguard, we've been saying for ages they needed to give some of the younger characters a role because they've been not doing very much. So now they've given him a purpose to be in the bay, given him a job. We do need to see him do it, but not every episode.
Yeah, it was funny you say he's got a purpose to be in the bay because this is what it's all about. He feels he's elate, he's on cloud 9 afterwards. He saved someone's life. Everyone's calling him a hero. You know, John's telling him how amazing he is, and it's a good job he's around. So obviously that plays with that inner battle he's having with the New York plans. You know, and Naomi, the friend of the damsel.
Sister.
Is it sister? Sorry.
Yeah.
She's a friend. Sister of the damsel, Naomi, is ever so thankful. Asks him out for lunch. Probably got the hots for the lifeguard. You know what these young girls are like. And John sort of pushes him into it. I think John sort of sees him in moping. He's already found at this point the browsing history of the flies. Yeah. So is John doing it to cheer him up?
No.
Or is he doing it for his own gain? Because you know what John's like.
We know what John's like. John's doing this because he doesn't want Nico to leave now. You know, when we thought a couple of weeks ago that he was possibly going to go with Bella to New York, John was devastated, wasn't he? He didn't want him to go.
Yeah.
So this is giving Nico, a reason to stick around in the bay, reason to, not go to New York. He's been a bit sneaky, I think, really. I mean, he tried to say, oh, it'll be good for her for closure, didn't he? That's what he tried to explain it away as. Oh, this girl just wants to talk and that's part of the job, just being there to talk them through the trauma and give them closure. And I was thinking, no, it's not. It's because you don't want him to leave and you want him to be all bigged up and like,
So go and get changed and put something nice on.
I know, exactly. Don't go in your uniform. Yeah, look nice. Brush your hair. I was like, he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. Poor old John. He's always got an ulterior motive, hasn't he?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Nothing's for free with old JP.
No. Oh, JP. Has he ever called himself that before? Hello, JP talking. I was like, what? When did this start? Since when were you JP?
Imagine if it was Alf on the phone. John, you're playing drongo. What are you answering the phone like that for?
That's what I call a jacket potato as well. I call that a JP. So I was like, he's a jacket potato. Oh, dear. Oh, John.
Yeah, John. And there's this conversation with Justin because Justin sort of half tells him off for it later in the week. Like, that's not right. He's still got, but doesn't really. He just sort of then agrees when John sort of gives him a load of crap about it, Just like, Justin, you could have done a bit better there, mate. Oh dear. So Nico's probably going to stay, isn't he? And this is probably.
I think he has to because we've got a bit of an empty cast at the moment, haven't we? So we need him to stay, really.
I was thinking, why don't we just book holiday?
Yeah, why does this go for 2 weeks or something?
Why is it like no job if I go?
Yeah.
Like he talks about going over there to visit her. Like just book an holiday.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
Have a 2-week break. You're allowed. Surely it's a paid position now. Surely he gets holiday and stuff.
Yeah, you'd have thought so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, mind you, when he first started, he didn't put a shift in, did he? Really, he kind of just kept saying, "John, I need to go. John, I need to do this." He was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll cover for you." He's probably had all his annual leave for the year already.
That's probably true. He's come a long way since he did the training anyway when he didn't want to be there and didn't even want to read the book. So good on him.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Yeah. So it's probably the end of Bella and Nick. Boo. Yeah. Maybe Bella will come back for him at some point. Who knows? Wishful thinking, maybe. Do we think new romance with Naomi then? What do we think of that?
Yeah,
she seems
possibly.
nice.
She does seem nice, actually. I mean, I don't. Yeah, she kept mentioning his girlfriend a lot, which is making me cringe. Like, oh, I'm sure your girlfriend will want you to be happy, and I was like, oh, this is. I don't know. Like, I couldn't work out whether she was flirting with him or just being nice. I don't know. I'm not sure really what I think.
Yeah. Bit early days in it yet. They've only had sort of one sort of conversation. She did buy him the turf and surf, though, so she must think a lot of him.
Get the most expensive thing, and she was like really bigging him up, like, "Oh, you're John's favorite, and you know you're great, you're a hero, and all this stuff." So, yeah, I don't know. I can't work out her angle. Whether she just wants a friend, whether she does want closure, like John said, or whether she just wants a bit of Nico. I don't know.
Yeah, and she needs to get somebody who's in her league. Because I'm sorry, she's reefing lakes, darling.
Reefing lakes, yeah.
Yeah, she's hanging out with the riffraff from the bay. No. Go and get someone of your Reefton Lake lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see where that goes. Poor old Bella, but she's having the time of her life. She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
Handyman Tex gets off to a great start on his first day at the bait shop. And he's got everything open and he's just trying to get a spot of breakfast, and Mazzy's, whipping him.
Dear.
You're not even allowed to have a breakfast. And he's like, I've done everything. And she's like, I'll get you to go, and I need to get you to do this and get you to do that. And poor old Madeline's like, but poor old Irene's like, Marilyn, just calm down.
Leave him alone, you
mad
woman. Yeah, she did that a few times, didn't she? Every time he sat down to eat something, she was like clearing his plate away while he's still chewing.
Yeah. I'm like, what is she playing?
Leave the lad alone.
She's stressing, isn't she? Because she's told Mr. Stewart she'll do a good job. So, and obviously he's come from nowhere. She's not going to trust him right away. You can understand that control element when it all balances on her. It's all her doing, isn't it? But he seems to be doing well, and obviously Marilyn's comedically taken the day off without telling Irene to go and show him what happens at the caravan park, and Irene's wandering around like a headless Chuck looking for her all day. But Tex, he's got a bit of a twinkle in his eye. I mean, he's a bit of a naughty one, I reckon. He just wants to go and to the gym, and then there's that weird moment where he walks past
the copper. Yeah.
What
did he say? Did he say nice or something?
Yeah, like, does he like
oh, nice. Or I don't know. It was a bit odd.
So he's giving me naughty vibes.
Yeah. So there is something that we don't know about him, isn't there? He's hiding something, I think.
Well, they all do, don't they?
Yeah.
But I think I messaged you, didn't I, because I'm really worried about Marilyn here. Because he's painting him, if he's a really nice boy, he's doing all the work. She's so naive. She's gonna walk into this blind, whatever this is,
Yeah.
She's gonna get caught up in something here. And I'm a bit nervous because it's not 5 minutes since, Mad Max.
I know, yeah. And did you notice how quick Justin was to offer him a beer as well? And he hadn't even met the guy, because Marilyn was like talking about him, wasn't she, to Justin and Leah? And Justin was like, "Oh, I'll ask him out for a drink," and she was like, "Oh, wait for him to settle into his job first." It just shows you how desperate Justin is to have a friend as well, doesn't it? Because he doesn't. He hangs out with Theo and he hangs out with John, and that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Tex, keeping an eye on him. A bit worried about Marilyn. I wonder if he'll rope Justin into something as well. If Justin befriends him, then if they do get that drink.
I wondered if that was setting something up for later, so that they do cross paths properly and meet. I don't know.
And he's either got a thing for women in a uniform, or he's got a relationship with the police. A previous relationship, and I'm a little bit. There was a conversation in tonight's 5-star between Leah and Marilyn at work at the diner, and Leah was like, "Oh, he's a bit nice to look at."
Oh yes.
And Marilyn's like, "Oh yeah, it's more what he can do that's interests me."
And
I'm
on
just
the
thinking,
inside. That's what she said, isn't it?
Yeah, is that a big clue? Because I think that would be the best story ever if Marilyn ends up in some form of complicated relationship with a young boy like Tex.
Oh, yeah,
I think
maybe.
that'd be a really good story for Maz. You know?
Yeah. It's when was the last time Marilyn had a love interest? Was it John? Because she joined Smolder, didn't she? And she tried to do online dating, but that didn't go anywhere, did it?
No, she matched with John.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think she's had a romantic interest. Gosh, I can't. It must have been John, the last one.
So this could be quite saucy. I hope it is that, you know, because I think that'd be very interesting. I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah.
And, you know, Marilyn does the comedy so good. It would be quite light, you know, nothing too, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing too dangerous, hopefully. But that could explain how she might get involved in something if Tex is a bit dodgy. You know, Stuart comes back and finds that Tex has been used in the bait shop for something he shouldn't have. You know, something like that. You know.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to, you know, hit the roof, isn't he? So I'm really intrigued here.
Breaking bait.
Yeah. Please let it be.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. He's got a meth lab.
It's going to be a story that I'm going to love.
Yeah.
If that's what happens.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Breaking bait planning. So Chloe is mothering Theo and being really needy, like she was with Bella, trying to do his taper time, and you're just like, off. It dominated like half of the week, and I was honestly this close to switching off.
Can they? Yeah. I don't. What is this girl's problem? Why can't she ever be alone?
No idea.
She just can't ever be by herself or entertain herself, and like it's just really sad because Leah was like, well, what do you do when you're not at work? And she was like, oh, I just hang out with Theo. What do you do when Theo's not available? I don't have anything to do. It's like, oh, come on. It's pathetic.
I know.
Don't watch Netflix.
Are we supposed to be sympathizing with that position? Because it's just impossible.
But it's just, I just find it really pathetic. I was like, oh, come on, girl. You're like, how old is she? 20, 21? And you've got nothing to entertain yourself, nothing to do. I don't believe that. It's bizarre.
No, really, it's a bit, it's nuts, in it, you know. And I'm just not interested. I did like it though when when she goes home without Theo, and Tane's like, "Where's your shadow?"
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, don't ask," like making it into a drama. It's like he's just gone home to do his college work. It's nothing.
Yeah,
it's nothing major.
And that and Leah, that conversation you're talking about where Leah's asking her like, what should she do? It upsets her, you know, just because it, you know, she's like, oh, I used to be this independent businesswoman, and you're just like, no, you were just doing it with Ryder instead of Theo. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, blah 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 blah. I was like, oh. And then she ends up doing the books. And I suppose that's a nice bonding moment between Chloe and Leah after they sort out their disagreement over that.
Yeah.
She upsets her. And they do the books for the gym together, and that's great. But I was more interested in Theo and Justin, the other half, sort of Justin putting in and doing his assignment for him.
I know.
And Theo's like, you know, this isn't right. And once he's done and he's gone out the way, he does it again, doesn't he? He starts it from scratch, the assignment. And I thought, you know, good for him. The old Theo would have just submitted that and gone and filmed a YouTube video.
He would have, definitely. No, I thought that was a really good, like you say, it's one of those character arcs, isn't it, where he comes full circle again. So I think it's proven that he's on the straight and narrow now. Now he's got a good home environment and a good, you know, job and a mentor in Justin and all that sort of stuff. He's actually making good decisions, I think, now, isn't he?
He is. And good on him for starting again from scratch and making sure it was his work. Many wouldn't, you know.
Yeah.
And then he gets his results a few days later. And 82% distinction. Whip. And however, Leah and Justin are not aware that he's redone Justin's
I
entry.
know. And Justin blurts out, doesn't he? Yes, I aced it. And Leah's like, what do you mean you aced it? And he's like, well, I might have written a few words. I wrote the whole thing. So yeah.
Now, do you know in the past when I've said to you, loads of people hate Leah for butting in all the time about stuff?
I joined that bandwagon this week. Yeah. I did join the bandwagon. Yeah.
Why did she not just leave it be and say, speak to Theo and say, I've heard Justin's done your assignment. Next time, make sure it's you. And then give Theo the opportunity to actually say, no, I actually redid it and submitted a different one.
I know. And what she's done is basically the consequences of this is that he gets kicked off the course. I mean, this is the assignment that he didn't do in the first place, isn't it? The one that he almost got a fail for. Then they've decided, you can redo it because you've got special circumstances and there's a reason why you didn't finish the first one and whatever. So this is his second chance. He's not going to get a third chance, is he? And she knows that. And yet she's saying, oh, ring TAFE and tell them that you wrote his essay. No, Leah. And she's saying, oh, there'll be consequences, but it won't be that big a deal. It's like, I was really wound up by all of this week. I know it's supposed to be to give us a story, the whole miscommunication thing. It's classic soap storyline, but it just annoyed me. It just annoyed me, and I was getting really irritated by her.
Just Leah again, just straight in there, all guns blazing. No, you need to report it and do the right thing. And it's like, why don't we all just take a chill pill and speak to each other? She frustrates the hell out of me when she does this. She does it all the time.
And we've only just got over, because not that long ago, last week, we were talking about how Justin and Leah had fallen out because of the whole Chloe and Theo being around the house too much, and Justin blurting that out and telling them, and then it's now it's kind of calmed down and everyone's friends again and it's no awkwardness, and then this is going to blow it all up again, isn't it?
Yeah And it's Theo's future that's at stake here. A future that he probably thought he didn't deserve a few months ago with all his upbringing and Dimitri and everything. So I feel sorry for the poor guy, and I'm sure next week we're going to see this explosion unfold. And egg on their faces, Leah and Justin. How they're going to get him out of it? Don't know. I don't know.
And he's only just won the trust back, because he like Theo lost trust in Justin and Leah not that long ago, didn't he? And they had to win him round again. So this is just the same thing.
Yep. It's just one thing after another with this.
I understand that we've got a limited amount of stories that we can do, that are believable and all that sort of stuff. But it does feel like this is a weekly thing now, isn't it?
Like nothing goes right, does it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame Theo for just upping and saying, God, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, I'm 21 years old. I'm not a child,
Yeah.
Don't
interfering with everything.
Ring my tutor and tell them I've cheated. Have a conversation with me as an adult if you think that I've done something wrong. They do treat him like he's 15 years old.
Yeah. So frustrating. I'd just tell him, shove it, And they're gonna feel awful when he actually turns around and says you numpties.
Yeah. I know, and it's going to be Justin that gets it in the neck, because he's the one that made the phone call, even though it was Leah that forced him to do it. Yeah.
I'll tell you, Leah, she's sneaky.
She is a bit.
When she wants to be.
Yeah, I saw it this week. I get it now.
So let's see what goes on. Domestic bliss, as always, I'm sure, at their house. And I just hope Theo gets through TAFE at some point in the future.
Bless him. He deserves
they have been
it.
good to him. Justin's given him the job. He's put him on the apprenticeship. They took him in. They have been good to him. It's not all bad, but just stop interfering to the level that they are doing. Let him just grow up.
Treat him like an adult. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. We both agreed on that one.
Oh gosh, I was just like, you're picking up the remote and just screaming at it because like it was the only thing that was listening to me. I was like, get Leia. So Mac's hearing approached and she pleads guilty. She goes to hearing, she pleads guilty, and then she's got to wait 2 agonizing days for the judge decision on what happens to her. And she's been told she could be facing prison time. But the judge might be lenient. It's a first offence, you know.
Yeah.
She's not heard any of that. Her hearings, or you know, has just sort of stopped at you might go to prison.
Yeah.
So
Worst case scenario.
As I imagine it would in many of those cases, you won't hear anything else other than prison.
Yeah, you would though, wouldn't you? You wouldn't think the worst, wouldn't you? You wouldn't think, oh, I'll just get a fine and a slap on the hand, you know?
Especially if you're a goody two shoes and never been in trouble before.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, terrifying.
So they come back, don't they? Her and Dean's like, it's not as bad as she's making out, because Dean's a regular down at the magistrates in Yabby Creek.
Oh, bless him.
He and the magistrate are Facebook friends. Yeah.
A BFF, yeah.
And Mac's in this sort of feeling sorry for herself bit, isn't she? Like, I'm going to prison. It's the end of my life. What's the point in carrying on? And Dean and Ziggy are really worried about her, you know, following around like 2 lost puppies. She's not in the right frame of mind. And, you know, they're having these conversations like she needs to accept it. And Dean's like, you don't go inside feeling like this. You need to go in strong. You know, and there's all these sort of conversations are happening, isn't there?
And she's like, what's prison like? Give me some tips, Dean. And he's like, it's not going to be fun. You know, I don't think he helped really, did he?
I'll post you some Vaseline. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, so funny. As if men and women's prisons are the same anyway, but, you know.
Me and Ari were very close. No, but then she sort of, you know, she wakes up the next day and she's had a bit of a change of heart, and she's shocked them both because she's come out with fighting spirit, and she said, I'm going to enjoy my last day of freedom. I'm going to do some of the things that I've always wanted to do. So they basically go for a surf.
As I said, what would your bucket list include? Because I don't think mine would be surfing.
And a beer.
And
where
a
you
beer.
work.
And what else did she do? Say it.
They went to Salt for lunch.
They did, didn't they? Went to Salt in the place that she owns, and then went surfing, but it wasn't her on that board.
No. Did you see that ass?
It's about 50 yards away and blurred out. I was like squinting. That's not her. I don't know. I suppose she hasn't got any money, so you know, with limited funds, maybe that's all she could afford to do on her bucket list. But
it was a naff bucket list. I've had more exciting chores to do list.
I know exactly. My housework's more interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, was it? But you know, never mind. She did what she could with the time she had.
It just wasn't very Mac for me. Do you know what I mean? I think Mac would have gone shopping or had her nails done, or you know, like I don't know. I think
proper bougie. Yeah, should have gone. Yeah, I agree. Especially when we locked. So I'm going to move on to it now because I think it did go a bit Mac later on when she tried to sleep but couldn't. You know, when she did the quick flick through the channels, and then ends up going to Salt on her own. Yeah, and I love it when soaps do this. You know, when you see a set like Salt that's normally dead busy and bustly, but it's there with the lights out, and then you know, the owner goes in and flicks the lights on, and it's dead quiet, and they're on their own. You know, you see a set that's not you never see it like that. You normally see it really loud and music and people. Yeah. And you know, there's soaps do this really well. This was done really well. You know, Mac's at she's going down that rock bottom way again. You know what I mean? And that's her it's sort of, to me, I took that as that's her in her head taking one last look at what her life could have been, you know, her achievements before she never sees it again. And then she gets the booze out and you just think, oh no, we've been here before, you know.
Yeah.
With a not too distant past, really. You know, her breakdown after the baby loss and Ari and everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like she's a bit fragile here.
She is.
And I really like her character, and I'll stick up for her. I'll praise her, but I'll also say, we've said on here when she's been a selfish so and so, because she can be. Can't she? She's a bit self-centered as well, but that's part of her. You know.
Yeah.
So she sleeps in the bar because she knocked herself out boozing, and and you're just thinking,
oh no. Oh dear, Mac. Well, it's very Mac, isn't it? Like you say, she's gone back to character really there, hasn't she? That's what she's like. That's how she deals with things. She buries her head in the sand. That's how she got in this problem in the first place. Yeah. Doesn't front her problems and just gets drunk and tries to forget about it, doesn't she? That's what she does.
Yeah.
Mopes and feels sorry for herself.
That's it. Makes it worse. Self-destruction. You know, we said all this when, the first time when she went through it all. This is, she just self-destructs. And, there's that moment as she phones her mum. She's not spoke to mum for ages.
Yeah. I wonder if she regrets that now.
I wonder if she's going to turn up.
Do you reckon? Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah. Because we've had daddy issues, haven't we?
Yeah.
And then obviously that'll be a bit of story for Dean as well, because he's the other child of the father.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Yeah. But I was watching these scenes and I was thinking, Dean and Mac have such a really nice brother-sister relationship.
Yeah.
Probably the best one we've had on the show for a long time. I was watching them together tonight thinking, haven't they got a really nice sibling? And they play it really well. Do you know what I mean?
Especially for two people that haven't grown up together and didn't know each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't even know that they were brother and sister until not that long ago, really. Yeah, they have got really close over the years. Well, they've been through a lot together. I think that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I just think the chemistry is really good.
Yeah,
between the actors, I think they do it really well. It's believable.
It is believable. Yeah, they almost look like real brother and sister, don't they? Like I think they look like they could be. I think that helps the kind of illusion of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, later in the week, tonight's 5-star. She goes to court and she gets off the good behaviour bond.
Yes, that was shocking.
That'll bite her in the ass at some point.
Yeah.
And a fine. You're just thinking, oh God, more money.
Yes.
But we're not worrying about that today. We'll worry about that tomorrow, said Ziggy. We're celebrating now. And, because while she's been at court, poor Flicks found a note saying, you're in charge. Off you go. But she's been
all the debt now, all the problems. You've inherited it all. I know. I was like, oh, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't. She's better off just selling that place and just shutting it down now if she's going to prison. Never mind passing it on.
Yeah. Well, I still think that's a real possibility. I'll be gutted if Mac doesn't run the restaurant, but I think that's a real possibility.
Yeah.
That she's gonna. What else has she got that's got any worth to pay off all this debt?
Yeah, and I don't think, not being funny, I don't think Flick would have been able to drag it out of a 50k hole.
No. Well, Flick's gone round at the very end, the weekend cliffhanger. Flick's gone round, and she said, "I've got an idea to get you out."
Yeah.
You're like, not again.
I know. Wasn't poker her idea?
Yeah. In Flick's defense tonight, she has sort of been saying to Tane, I need to do something to help her. I've got to do it because it's partly, I got her in this mess.
Yeah.
And that's the first time that's been mentioned in his, because all week I've been thinking, why, no one's, Flick's not even involved with the Mac or anything here. And I know Mac agreed to take the fall for it, but Flick, they were all your buddies.
Yes, it was her idea. It was, her contacts and all of that sort of stuff. To be fair to Flick, she did tell Mac after the first one, no, don't do another one. That's it. You're out. And don't get involved with this PK guy. He's really dodgy. And Mac didn't listen to that either. So Mac got herself in more trouble. But she wouldn't have done it at all if it wasn't for Flick. It was Flick's idea. And it was Flick's contacts.
It wouldn't have even crossed her mind.
No.
Yeah. So I understand that Flick feels like she owes a debt to her. But all this sort of pre-court stress, I'm just thinking Flick needed to be a little bit more involved in that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it just looked like Flick's nose was clean. She didn't give a crap. And then it was only tonight when we caught up with Flick at work, it was a bit like, okay, fair enough. She's admitting that, she does owe a level of debt to her because she has got off scot-free.
Yeah, well, we had that scene on the beach, didn't we, which I think was kind of like probably an afterthought. Somebody went, oh no, we need a scene with Tane and Flick where Flick feels guilty, and because she was saying something like, what do I do, do I phone her before she goes to court? What do you do before someone goes to court? And all that guilt was coming out then. It's a bit late, but we needed to see it, didn't we? Because we were saying, where's Flick in all of this? How come she's not even talking about it? So it felt a bit rushed to me, that. I don't know.
Yeah, it did.
Did you feel
it came just a bit too late.
She's already on the way to court.
If we'd have just had it maybe even the day before, the episode before that, or a couple of episodes before, when Mac is going through the motions, bucket list. We sort of needed it then, I think. And I'd have been a bit more empathetic towards Flick's situation then, being lumbered with the restaurant. But there we go. Mac's off. She's here to stay. I'm happy about that. The debt is still a problem, so I'm sure we'll work out and learn what Flick's idea is on Monday. Right, it's time for First Look, Sophie. A chance, as you know, to get ahead and find out what we'll be chatting about next week. Are you ready? That's always the golden question.
Yeah, I'm always ready. I'm all ready.
Right. Monday episode. No, I'm going to get it.
Go on.
7,800. Episode 7,822.
Oh, wow. Amazing. What a great number.
I thought you'd like it. Felicity tries to help Mac but gets shot down. I'm not surprised because you'd just be thinking, I'm not listening to any more of your ideas, girl. Yeah. Theo lashes out at Justin after his betrayal.
Oh, that was coming, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the explosion we were talking about. And Chloe begins to have suspicions about the gym.
Oh, he's getting back to the dodgy money stuff.
Now then.
You've mentioned this a few times that gym was bought with hot money. Is there something?
And she's doing the books now, isn't she?
Yeah. Is there something dodgy going on there?
Oh, I'm so glad that's not been forgotten about.
Ooh.
Juicy.
Does Chloe know the money for the gym was bought with the money from the robbery? I don't know whether she knows.
Well, if she's got suspicions, what else could it be? What else could it? Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I'm looking forward to that now.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Interesting.
And now then, if that comes out, how are they going to explain that? Because Ari's dead. Oh, so many questions.
Mia's gone.
Right. Yeah, she's MIA. Literally, Mia.
Well done. I like
that was quick, that. Right. Rose begins to plot her escape.
So she's going to leave the bay. Because we've been saying this, haven't we? Without Jasmine, why are Rose and Xander still hanging around?
And she won't want to work with Cash. She might put in a transfer with a bit of luck.
Yeah.
Okay, plot her escape. Theo is forced to show off how well he can thrive under pressure.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, Okay. And Chloe discovers a shocking family secret.
There we go. Hot money.
Oh, yes. I'm here for that. I'm here for
that.
Rose,
do you think he's got it written in the accounts book? Jim bought me hot money. I wouldn't put it past him, like Tane. Or a little note saying, rest of cash in bag under mattress. I don't know. What's in the books that tells
the
you?
thing is, because what you bought, they bought the place with cash. That wouldn't be in the books, would it?
I wouldn't have thought so. So has he written it in the back of the ledger? Like... Don't tell accountant that money is stolen. I don't know. I'm trying to think how it would come out, but...
I'm shocked Leah hasn't seen it while she's been helping Chloe and then phoned the tax authorities herself.
Oh, yeah, she will. She will. She'll get cash on the blower.
Rose and Xander get a new place.
Oh, so they are sticking around. Okay.
Yeah, but moving out of Irene's. I wonder if Irene's cottoned on.
Are they still at Irene's?
Rose and Xander get a new place. Xander's at Irene's, isn't? Oh wait, I'm thinking about Cash.
I think they're still at the caravan park, aren't they?
Sorry, yeah, they are. They'll be going into the apartment.
Oh, Mac's place.
Max just moved out, hasn't she?
I thought, though, I don't know whether this is me just putting two and two together and making five, but I thought the reason why Mac suddenly has moved out of that apartment is because it's by the Pier Diner, which is being renovated.
Yeah, I did wonder that myself, but where else would they go unless we're getting a new set?
Yeah, there isn't anywhere, is there? Unless they're moving with John. John's rattling around his house, to be fair, on his own.
Just don't eat his cake.
Oh, no, not again. Oh, no, crying. Oh.
Rose ponders romance.
Oh, no. No romance for you.
Marilyn cracks down on Tex.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying what's in my brain.
Are we on late night home and away again?
After dark, yeah, we are.
Dominatrix Marilyn. Oh dear Lord. And finally, Mac gets one last shot if she can manage to take it. Nico finds himself in a surprising situation with Naomi.
Is it surprising? Is it?
Nope, not to anybody else apart from him. And Felicity sets off on a secret mission.
Oh.
Oh, we'll find out next week, Sophie. We'll find out what on earth she's up to.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for listening. As always, like, subscribe, maybe even rate this episode and this podcast wherever you get your podcast from, and then make sure you're subscribed or following it so that you'll be notified of future episodes. We're here every Saturday, aren't we? Without fail, normally. And you can catch us on online on social media, Instagram and Twitter. We are at Coastal News Pod. Until next week, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.